so got wheels on. Like I said, we got lots of small things we got to do next. So I kind of went ahead off camera the other night. I was in here and just kind of piddling around a little bit. And you see I went ahead and I put my parking brake cable on and I kind of looped it under the frame, and now you see why I didn't really video much of it. You can't see a lot of it, so it comes up through here. And these are the original parking brake cables, as you can see, a little rusty and dirty looking. You got this flap right here. You got this threaded hole right here on the axle. That's where it holds down your brake line and stuff. I couldn't find the bolt that came out of there, so I just drilled that dude out and kind of re-tapped it for another bolt that I did have. So I ran that cable under there. Now we come over to the other side. You see it comes in from a different angle, loops around, comes out there. I ran them just inside that sway bar mount there. Hopefully that won't be a problem. If it is, I'll deal with it then. We come up to our mount, that you remember our factory mount that we put back on. Factory cable runs up and goes right there. Now there's another section of cable that attaches right about here on the other side that goes up toward the front that we do still have to I got to sort out how I'm going to mount it up there at the front, but that's not a big deal. I can make that happen. So next up, what I want to do now is I've got a stainless steel extended brake line that goes here that we're going to put on. I had to order new brake lines right here at the calipers, and I'll show you why I did that and what my plan is there for either side. I had to order them. They're not in yet, and we're going to have to do a little bit of hard line work from here out to where we're going to mount them up, like right there. That'll be in a day or so, so we'll do that after the fact. But for now, we're going to get this hard line mounted up and get it in place, and then we're going to move on to our, see if you can see them right there. That is our two fuel lines and our brake line, our main line, which has got to come back. So now we got to run that. Woo. We got to run that all the way along through here, up to our fuel tank there, to our brake line, which will be there. So let me throw you on a tripod and let's get to work. All right, so first of all, I'd like to apologize if that last part right there was a little shaky and kind of screwy. I'm filming with one of my other cameras because my phone is full at the moment, which actually I kind of like filming with this camera better anyway because the battery lasts a little bit longer, and well, I ain't gonna say it holds more because my phone actually holds more, but I don't know, I kind of like this camera. I also forgot we got our breather that we got to put back on. It's probably a lot long right now. I know you can't see it right now, but we had the nipple that's on the back of the axle right here. I just reused that, I left it on, so we're just gonna kind of chop this guy off here, and it's got a big nasty jagged cut, and it doesn't need to be quite as long as it was before, so I'm gonna chop that dude off right quick. Get our razor blade here. I don't think you don't put a clamp or anything on this. It's just a breather tube, so shouldn't be an issue. We should just be able to push that dude on there. Grab some of this other stuff, bring it on over here. Alright, so let's put this guy down on here. Like I said, it's just a nipple on the end of the axle here. This one probably could have stood to put some new hose on there. That's a little stiff, but it appears to be working. I'm just going to reuse this little clip that was on there from the factory that kind of puts it on the frame. Hey, handy dandy, it works, it's clean. I'm good with it. Actually, I think I'm gonna need to clip that on over here a little bit more to give it a little bit more slack, because I did forget we are at full bump right now, so that axle is gonna move around some. All right, so next on our list, this brake line. So you got, I bought a longer one because, well, I thought it looked cool, and at first I kind of thought I might need it, but then after thinking about it, honestly, if you think about how much farther down this axle was on this truck from the factory, it's really, even when it's lifted all the way up, it's still not going to be anywhere near as high up as it was from the factory. So the factory line would have been just fine, but I already bought this one. It looks cooler. It does create a little bit better feel on the brakes. Maybe, that's what I'm gonna tell myself. It was cheap. I bought it off Amazon, so it didn't cost hardly anything. It is stainless steel, so it should last good. The other brake line that was on here was the one from the factory, and I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and try to make up a story. I'm sure there was nothing wrong with it. This is a F450, so everything they put on these trucks is pretty much made to last. So I ain't gonna sit here and try to make up a story about why it might not have lasted. So now I've got this little bracket here that where it holds it to the frame. So we're gonna stick this right under here, which now my breather is right in the way. So we're gonna loosely put him right there for now. So that, we got the same factory style clip. You stick this through that bracket, you stick the clip down, it kind of locks it in place. That way when our brake line comes along, we'll attach our hard line. So I may do it something like that. That way when my hard line comes across, it's not just another bend that I gotta put in, and I can just come straight in. And like I said, I've got plenty of range right here to still, come on, help a brother out. Yeah, that'll work right there. That should work just fine. I mean, yeah, that'll work just fine. I can put it up, or I could flip it and do it like this so it goes up. All right, y'all, so, oh yeah, an apology, because once again, my phone was full. So in the process of while I was waiting to transfer some files off of my phone to my computer, I figured I'd grab this camera and use it. Well, in the process of while I was filming the other day, what you just saw, the card filled up on this one. So now a day or so has passed and I've had a chance to transfer some files off of this camera and a couple off my phone and a little bit of this and that, but I did have an opportunity the other day to actually get a little bit of work done on the truck, and I didn't want to pass it up. So basically the other day, you know, we were working on putting this extended rear brake line on. The only thing you missed was really me just bolting it down right here. So then my next move was to start working on extending the brake line back. Now, a couple reasons why I chose to go ahead and just do it. One, because it was a good opportunity to work. I had time, and when I get time, I got to get on it and get to work. And number two, I'm not very good at bending brake line, admittedly. I didn't know how long it would take. I didn't, you know, I didn't want to look like a complete dummy doing it. So I bought one piece of 1/4 inch brake line, and I've got the stuff to do the fuel lines too. But I just figured, you know what? I'll just give her a shot and just see. So you can see right now I've got it stubbed out. It kind of ends right here. I bought one piece of line that's like 5 feet long, and I thought that would be more than enough. Well, as you can see, well, I hope you can see it. I'm about 6 or 8 inches short from coming up where I ended with my brake line, where I mounted it. I am not going to rebend this entire brake line because it took me, I don't know, like an hour and a half to bend this stupid line. We're gonna take it off just a sec. I'll kind of show it to you, kind of show you what I did on it. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm just gonna unbolt it right here. I used a hole that was already in the frame, so I'm just gonna unbolt it, and I'm gonna move the brake line to right here, and I'm just gonna drill a hole in the frame, and I'm gonna mount it right there. I've got plenty of brake line. It ain't gonna hurt a thing. It'll still mount up right here just the way I want. So all is well at the end. So now, with all that being said, we move to our brake line. So up here, I've already got where I'd cut the brake line off. Let me make sure you can see that here. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see me. All right, so you can definitely see that. So right here, I had cut the brake line and the 2 fuel lines off. Now the fuel lines are stainless and much harder than this, which is mild steel, I guess, the brake line. So I already took my flaring kit and I reflared the end of the brake line right here, and I put the fitting on it, and I've just got a little union that goes on there. Now I've got to cut about 1 inch off the end of the line here and reflare it. So basically I came back and I bolted my little factory line holders back into the truck. It's not where they were originally, but it's where they are now because it kind of worked with what I was trying to do. So I came back right here. It's got this hole in the frame that's actually, it was like a punched hole, so the frame is rolled in. So I had to come back, bend in, and then bend back. So I had to make like an S bend to get it fitting tighter into the frame right here where it would snap into this little bracket that I wanted to use. So we came straight back from there. We came through this bracket where it sits in here just like that. Had to make a 90-degree bend, come out, make another 90-degree bend so it fit outside of our C-notch, come up, put a 45 here, 45 here, come across, 45 back here, and then a 90-degree bend back here where it just comes right across, where we'll dead end it with a, we'll put a flare on it, a single flare, and our brake line will go onto it from there. Now, how did I do all of this? I'm sure there's like a cool rule of thumb to doing all this that guys that are really good at it use, and I'm sure they get it done real quick, and it probably looks way nicer than what mine looks like. Now, how did I do it? Probably not the way they did it. But so I had to start, I just kind of stretched my straight piece of line all the way out through here, and I kind of figured out where I need to start my S bend, and I just kind of held it with my finger and put me a little mark on there with a paint pen, and I just kind of started with a bend. I didn't really know how much it was going to be. I just kind of guessed at it, and then I came about an inch down, and I threw another bend in. I just kind of eyeballed it to where they looked like they were pretty much parallel to each other, just with, you know, an inch of separation or whatever. And I kind of messed with that until I got it where I wanted it, sitting straight into my frame here. So then I kind of came back and I eyeballed about where I was going to need to put my 90 in right here. So then at that point, I took my paint pen and I put a mark on the tubing itself. And then I put a mark, like if you had a circle around the tubing. So now I wanted to do my 90, you know, turning out, which would be perpendicular to the way the tubing was already running. So I made a mark, a flat mark on the face of the tubing where I wanted to put the bend in it. And I measured from my mount of my bracket right here to the face, the outside face of my C-notch. Then I think it was like 3 1/4 inches. So then basically I made another mark around the tubing at that 3 1/4, and I put a mark on the inside. That way I knew I wanted to bend to that side. So I set that up and I bent it, and I just kind of worked my way through. I just kind of found a random spot right here that looked pretty good for it to run parallel up through there. Still have room for my other lines to go. And same thing, you can see I put the white mark right here, put the white mark on top, so I would know that that's where I wanted to bend. Same for right here, white mark, bend. Same here. And once I kind of got going with that, it wasn't, yeah, I'll just put that right there. It wasn't terrible to figure out. Now, I'll show you the little benders that I'm working with. I had one here for a little bit larger tubing. I don't even remember what I used it for originally. This is gonna be funny watching me try to fish this thing out because I don't remember how I did it the other night when I stuck it in here. It don't fit great through any of this stuff. But the bender that I've got, that I used, like I said, I don't even know where I got the thing from. I don't know how long I'd had it. So the one that I had, now I bought another one at Advanced Auto Parts the other night when I was there because it just kind of looked good, and I thought, that might work good. So I'm going to show them both to you if I ever get this fished out of here. I don't know how the hell I got this thing in here. Let's see here. So this is the key. How do you get it out without bending and messing it up for the way you've already got it done? Let's see. Are we onto something here? I don't know. Well, so far I'm doing scratching the hell out of everything. Yep, scratched that pretty good. Well, this is stupid. So there we have it. Kind of got a lot going on. But I guess the key to this is just like the key to building anything. You can't look at it as the whole. Don't look at, you know, the entire piece of tubing with all these bends in it. You just got to look and start, okay, right here. So now we'll jump up here. I've got to make a cut on it and a single flare here, single flare down there, so we can put these fittings back on. And I'll show you these little benders that I used. Alright, so up here on the workbench now. So we're going to start by getting our trusty tubing cutter here. See, I got my mark made right here. We're going to cut this guy off. So we'll put this guy in here. Center up our little blade where we want to make our cut. Don't over tighten it, obviously. Basically, you just turn it around till it gets easy and add a little bit each time you go around. Cuts it real nice. Cut it clean and straight, all that good stuff. Because that's one of the keys to having a good flare is your cut's got to be nice and straight and clean. So now we'll grab this guy. Clean up the inside here. Probably could be prettier, but whatever. Now this is about as primitive of a flaring tool as you can get. I have had it for years and years and years, but I've done my fair share of flaring and it has always worked. I think I put it through there backwards. I did. Alright, so I don't know that there is necessarily a right and a wrong way to do this. I always kind of poke it through there just a little bit. That way I get room to flare it. And you just tighten these guys up. I don't know if you can over tighten them. I always just tighten them down to they're good and tight because I know this thing's kind of pushing against it. Now this steel tubing is not very strong, so now you're going to take the center of your little thing there, just kind of slowly snug it up in there. Alright, so that's good. Make sure we're good and tight here, good and tight here. I'm going to knock everything off the end of this bench before it's all said and done. Now, just start turning this dude down in there and you'll see it kind of mushroom up the end of the tubing there. You don't got to go too far with it. Doesn't take a lot. There's that one. Let's see what we got. Hey, look at that. Success. Man, I guess I got that a little too tight when I tighten them down. Give me a little piece of 180 or something. Hit that right quick. Hit it a lick or two, it'll smooth it up. Let me grab that. Thought I had a little piece somewhere right here. A little piece of 320 ought to do it. It don't need much. It just kind of left some little bite marks in it right here where I snugged them up. Oh yeah. Yeah, so by the time I pull that up and tighten it, that ought to seal up real nice. Looks like it's a little bit crooked, but it'll be fine. I didn't really want to push it any further than I did. It should seal up good because by the time this tightens down on it, it should form that to the inside of that union. Should be good. Feels like maybe I did over tighten that just a touch. Oh yeah, it just kind of drug a little bit right there. I can fix that right quick, a little 320. bad thing about this stuff, it dulls out really fast. Feels like it's got adhesive or something right here. That's what's dragging. Oh, I bet I know what it is. Where it had like the barcode stuff on it, the little that's what's on it that's making it stick. Yeah, because it was wrapped right around this end. That's all right. Time we put a little Teflon tape on this guy. We're going to do that. We're going to put the union on right here. That way it's a little easier. We only got to tighten one side once we get it down onto the truck there. Let me go grab the union right quick. Actually, we'll go ahead and do this other side right quick. We'll bust this guy out. Got a 1/4 inch. Make sure I don't over tighten this side. Yeah, this janky little thing, it's kind of easy to get it sitting up on here crooked. Clean the inside out. Let my ear get out from under there just a little bit. It won't flange even if you let them get out of there. You got to make sure it hits evenly. Now remember what I said about this being an El Cheapo set here. As long as it gets the job done, I don't care. There we go. Successful flange. There we go. Oh no! So what you just saw is what happens when you get a little bit ahead of yourself, because where are they at? I forgot to put the fitting on the end that I need to have. So looks like I'm going to be cutting this guy off and doing that all over again. Yay! Why do it once when you could do it twice? So now I just got to get this thing in here as close as I can get, and my rollers still roll. That way I don't lose any more length than I have to. And I got to figure out what I did with my little fitting, because I know I got one. At least I had a little room to spare. All right, ready to go again for the first time. So I'm gonna go find my fitting right quick. 1/4 inch union. It's compression fittings. That's 5/16. That's 5/16. Oh man. I tell you what, some days I can't win for losing. So in the millisecond between where I just walked away from the table to say that I was going to go find a fitting, and now kind of a lot's happened. So in that time, I drove to town, or actually I scoured the shop here, and I cannot find the fitting that I bought to go on this line to save every human being that I know. So I thought, no big deal, I'll run to Advanced Auto Parts and I'll go get one. So I did that. So I went to Advanced Auto Parts and I bought one. and I bought a 1/4 inch fitting, or a 1/4 inch tube nut for a flare fitting, and I bring it back, and I go to put it on, and something, I don't really know what the deal is. It says 1/4 inch, it looks like it's 1/4 inch, but it is just a little bit too small. It is not gonna go on here, and I don't know why. I measured it. It is 1/1000th of an inch smaller than this 1/4 inch tubing. That makes absolutely no sense. It should fit. I don't understand what the deal is. So Home Depot is actually a little closer to my house, so after staring at it for a little while and looking around for a little bit more for the other fitting that I bought and not being successful, I decided to run to Home Depot. I went to Home Depot. Well, actually, before that, I got to looking at this fitting, and something just told me to try to tighten it into the brake line that's on the truck. So I go to try to do that, and it's too big. The threaded part of this is too big to go into the brake line that's on the truck. Now that makes no sense, because the brake line, what was on the truck was a 1/4 inch brake line, and I bought the new brake line for this truck, so it should have been the same. It's not. I have no idea why, but it's not. So I went back and I looked at all the old brake lines that I took off the truck to try to see if I had anything that was the right size and thread pitch that would work. So I did find one of my old fittings right here, and this will thread in. It is a flare fitting, and it will thread into that and tighten up quite nicely, just like it's supposed to. But it is also just barely too small to fit over this 1/4 inch tubing. I have no idea why. I don't get it. I have never experienced this before. And now at this point, everywhere is closed. So I can't go buy any more pieces and parts. And I want to get this brake line done tonight, because I'm stubborn like that. So I'm going to try something that probably shouldn't do, but at the same time, I don't see why it wouldn't work. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, I'm going to clamp the hex head of this fitting in my vise. Not too tight, but just enough so it won't spin. And I'm going to get a 1/4 inch drill bit, and I'm going to see if I can run that drill bit down the inside of this fitting right here, and see if I can just kind of punch it out that extra thousandth that it needs to slide over this. Because if I slide it over it, and I should be able to just put the flare fitting on it, and it should tighten into my brake line just fine. Should I do it? Probably not, but like I said, I really want to put this stupid thing on. We've all had those days, right? Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I'm gonna jump over here, and I'm gonna chuck up a 1/4 inch drill bit, and we'll see how bad I can mess this thing up. I mean, worst case scenario is if I screw it up I'm just done for the night until tomorrow, when I can hopefully go find what I need. But it would be nice if I could make this work with not having to buy anything else, seeing as how this was a couple bucks and this was a couple bucks. I'm not going to make a special trip to either one of those stores just to return that, so I'll just throw it in a drawer for, maybe I need it for another day. Because I did go to Home Depot, and I bought this, which is a compression fitting for 1/4 inch, which will fit this tubing. And I thought I had the right thread pitch to go that would tighten into that brake line. I do not, so that one won't work either. So just gonna hang on to that. So I'm gonna see now if we can drill that thing out. Where'd I put it? I just had it right here. So we're gonna see if we can drill this thing out. This should be fun. Let's go. All right, well, moment of truth here. This one's either gonna punch it out and completely ruin it, or it's gonna be where it's useful, so. Let's see if I can get this thing back straight in here. I don't know if it matters or not because the hole's already in there, but I know it can't hurt anything either. All right, that should do it. Boom. Yeah. Like I said, desperate times call for desperate measures. That's gonna work. So now, we'll put my drill bit up and we'll jump back over here. That is one crooked ass hole. Sheesh. I don't love that. Not in love with that. Dang it. Well, I mean, I guess if it tightens up, shouldn't matter really. It's ugly, but I guess we can just try it. If it leaks, I can always fix it down the road. I'll buy the right fitting for it. I mean, really what I probably should do is wait until tomorrow when I can get the right part for it. Maybe we just start working on the fuel lines. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. So like, look, I don't know how well you can see that. That is just really crooked and really nasty. I mean, it seats up really good right here. So I mean, like I said, it probably would be just fine, but I think I'm gonna keep this as a last ditch option if I can't find what I want, but I think I should be able to find what I want. So let's move on to fuel lines. Let's see if we can get going with that. Well, as annoying as that is, I really had hoped that we'd get that line figured out in this video. I actually cut out a whole lot. Like I said, I'm really not good at, you know, bending brake line and all that. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. It just, you know, it just took a while sorting out. Trust me, it gets better when I do the fuel lines. I'm sorry, it's been 5 weeks since I put out a video. I kind of abandoned y'all, it probably feels like. I did not. I have been all over hell and half of Georgia with my daughter in the last 6 weeks, and I edit on Saturday and Sunday mornings. That's why the videos usually go out like Sunday afternoon and stuff like that. I haven't been home on a Saturday and Sunday morning in 5 to 6 weeks, so this was my first opportunity to get back and get this video put out for y'all and hopefully get everything back on schedule the way it's supposed to go. As usual, thank you for tuning in. I hope you continue to come back and watch. This project really is coming together at this point, and man, it turns out badass. So, with all that, thanks. See you in the next one.